righty, Doc from North America. The numbers are out. I was waiting for that. 1.79 on the jobless to 1.8. We're looking at the 1.3 in GDP versus 1.1. Interesting numbers, and the markets seem to be almost like stalled, like as if it doesn't even mean a thing. It's interesting. There's barely a budge from it. So I find that totally... Oh, there you go. Let me fix that. And I find that totally fascinating in that aspect. You know, the idea that the markets are just not, I don't know, I mean, they're disconnected on that because obviously they're watching, something else than the fundamentals, as as Giannis has showed us over the decade, how they don't function. And Daniel, Benny, Robin, alrighty. Yeah, markets just basically didn't even move from it all. Oh, let's get the markets up on there too. There's the S&Ps. You'll be able to see that. There it is. You see the S&Ps just, that's it. Just a little nothing. It just there. It just ended like that. It was up here and it came right to there and it's just sitting there and. I guess that says it's a hotter market, is it? I guess that's how you would look at it, I mean, GDP 1.3 versus 1.1 means that the economy is growing a little bit stronger. I guess they have to put a whip to it or something. Hey, Janos, everything just waits for the U.S. resolution on debt. Yeah, I know. That's exactly it. It shows that right now. We had two good not that their numbers were good or bad. They just were different. The numbers were flat out different, and the market don't care. It just doesn't care. See, it appears that the markets are dropping and the bonds and strengthening. Yeah, they've been. I just saw the 30-year. Let's see what the 30-year is doing. I mean, it's almost like. Let's see. We go to the 30-year right there. Yeah, just up a couple ticks. Still in that daily sell for that nice ride down, and the weekly sell there. I'm not sure. I'm confused. It has me confused. I think they're going to resolve something here, but I keep on hearing from my childhood, that never short a dull market. And what was the other thing I used to hear all the time is that buy on the rumor, sell on the news. So, in other words, once the news comes out, will they slam the market? In other words, when they finally do resolve the debt ceiling, will they slam the market? I'm almost convinced that we're not going to see. One moment I keep on hearing, we're hearing interesting stories about the debt. Now that you brought it up, peer currency pairs are declining. Yeah. Meanwhile, we get MVDA. Yeah, true. Through the roof on the MVDA, yeah. It keeps on. I keep on hearing that Biden wants to sign something, and supposedly his staff is not letting him. And everybody's always saying, who runs the White House? Who's in control of Biden? But like yesterday, the press secretary was just going crazy about the Republicans and the negotiations and saying things really bad. At the same time, the president was sitting there saying, I want to sign something, and I'm trying to get my people to agree. It's like as if he doesn't have a choice. In other words, it's what his staff tells him what to do, and so he's like, yeah, I want to sign something. And then notice that you don't see the head of the Senate anymore out there talking. He's kind of disappeared altogether. Schumer running the majority in the Senate. He's disappeared altogether because none of them can pass a bill except for the Republicans. They passed the bill. And so you can't sign something if you don't pass a bill. So they passed the bill, and I guess Biden wants to sign it on some level, but his staff won't let him sign it. Yeah, they're the handlers, I guess. That's pretty much what it comes down to. And then you keep on hearing the same stories over and over again, and it's like, that's so weird, It's like none of it makes any sense to me. It's a very strange going ons. Very strange. Hey, Metho, and so I guess we could talk about. I think we should clarify exactly what could happen and what will happen. Now we've all know about what could happen. Default, blah blah blah. But they have enough money in there where they could pay all the bond debt all the time, and they could pay for the military. That's by law. They don't have a choice. They have to pay for the military, and then from there they would they could pay Social Security. That's another lawful thing. They can pay for those three things, and then after that, everything sits to the side. So in other words, if they don't come up with there's a bill. So if they don't come up, with a signature, and they let it go to what will happen, that's what will happen. And what will happen is not they will default on debt. They won't do that. That's just the media spinning that. So those three things can be paid for. The problem is that for the Democrats is that the rest of the government would basically shut down. And right now, a majority of the Americans want the government to shut down. They're like, they've had it. They want the spending to stop. In other words, Biden's budget, the one he wants, not the one he's passed. He hasn't passed one, but the one he wants is set as if we're still in COVID panic. In other words, the budget has COVID, like a couple trillion for COVID still, and COVID's gone and done. It's over with. I still hear ads on TV every day by the government about COVID, like as if it exists, and so they're saying all we want to do is go back, a year to when we weren't financing COVID. In 2000, the budget of Trump, the last Trump budget going into 21. So it's only a year and a half. And that's what the problem is, that the budget that they passed only gives a 1% increase, and they want something like a 15% increase. And so his staff won't let them do things. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Yeah. So, I mean, that's probably like the best way of describing it, is that they can't, they can't get this thing going because of that. So that's where we kind of stand. It's kind of odd, but that's where we stand. And so, so I'm not like worried about it. Now, I don't, I've always said here that the intellect of a lot, of the money managers, their ability and their intelligence is very low. They're good salesmen, but they're not necessarily good investors. That's why, they take other people's money. They don't invest their own money. And so, that's what the problem is that they don't really understand what I just described. That's the way it will play out, not the way it might play out. It will play out that way. They will pay for military. They will pay for Social Security. In other words, the pension system of the retired, and they will pay for the debt. They will pay interest to everybody. It's not going to default. Matter of fact, McCarthy keeps on saying that from the House. It's not going to happen. And they keep on, the media keeps on spinning stuff like it could happen. It's like, no, it's not going to happen. It can't happen because the Republicans are not going to let it happen because they will spend that money. I mean, that's pretty much what it comes down to. So, it's an odd thing. Yeah, I got to answer something here. So yeah, that's the whole craziness of it all. That is what's really crazy, is that they're not going to default on the bonds, and anybody trading like as if they're going to default on the bonds is definitely totally in the wrong direction, and that's really what it comes down to at this point. So it is an odd thing. It is very odd. The whole thing is odd. It's like out of control, going nowhere. Mountain, good morning, Doc. After the fundamental talk, can you look for the Amgen and Euro and Silver? Let's do that now. Let's check them all out. There are on my watch list due to the past week headlines. Sure. All right. Well, let's go to let's go take a look at the Amgen. We'll check out Amgen, and then we'll look at NVDA too, and then from there we'll go to the Euro, and then we'll go do Silver. U.S. Tech. Oh, you mean is that like the Tech 100? We can look at that too. Is that what you mean, U.S. Tech 100 that we do on the Dugoscopy? Yeah. Cool. Cool. Let's see. And so. Let's see. Where's it at? Let's go right there. Right there. Okay, so now let's go down to. Let's see, which one's that? That we can use that one. No, there's a well. There you go. We have an NVDA on there, so you can see. Let's see, what is that? That's in front there, and then strength there. It was in a buy yesterday, and so it spiked up today. Yeah, I guess that's the way it is. It's been in a weekly buy for a while. It doesn't really give up on it. We've been in a weekly buy in that stock since the middle of January. So there's the first one. We got that taken care of. And then, where do we go from there? So then from there, wait, you should see the stock market now. It's rocking. Check out this. Yeah, they're driving this puppy hard. Lift them up. Watch them fly. And then let's go back to that. So there's that. So there's the NVDA. It's been in a buy since the beginning of the year. And let's see, goes in a buy there, goes into a sell here. Let's see, let's just do these. Let's widen this out for you too, and move it up a little bit also. And widen it out. Where's that button at? Now we'll move it down. There we are. It's really spiking. It's really spiking there. Let's do this. Go like that. Move that up, and we can widen it a little bit more. Wow, it's really way up there. So, it closed in a buy yesterday at the $300 area, and where are we at now? $400, and it's been in that weekly buy. So you couldn't take any shorts out of this. And let's see, where's the last? So I guess we can move that over like that. That was the last buy. Then it went into it, tried to go into a sell for one day. Where is that at? Right there. And let's put the sell in there, like so, right there. And then the buy, we'll just grab this buy from here and put that in there. So we've been in a buy like that. And just wind that over. All right, so that's that one. And then, boy, that's been a really good product. Yeah, at see, Metho says the NASDAQ 100. Yeah, okay. Anyone in the future, see, between now and a talk with potential trader, he could not figure out our U.S. indices. Huh, okay, yeah. Yeah, that's the Tech 100. That's the NQ. You know, I'm just drifting a little bit, and I see that. Yeah, that's it, Metho. CFDs on the front future contract on the indices. Yeah, I saw somebody from the New York Stock Exchange talk about the big board, so forth this morning, and they said here at the big board, and I'm thinking to myself, would you believe that the NASDAQ 100 now on the NASDAQ, on the national, it's a competing exchange, does 5 times the volume of the New York Stock Exchange. It does that. It does 5 times the volume. Can you believe that? Isn't that amazing? 5 times the volume. So, it really, is a curious thing. I mean, It's very thin, very thin. The New York, the Dow Jones Industrial Average have 6 or 7 of the major is basically the has 6 or 7 of the Nasdaq stocks in it. It's unheard of. If you had told somebody from the New York, like myself, a member, you know, 30 years ago, that there'd be 6 or 7 Nasdaq stocks in the Dow Jones Industrial 30, I'd be like, "You're blowing my mind." You know, I would have a hard time believing it. You know, it is curious. It really is. You know, and it really is unique. But anyway, my head kind of thought, how dare they talk about being the big board when they're not even owned. They're owned by ICE now. Anyway, all right, need I'm sorry, I didn't need to drift off there. Oh, and the Russell 2000. Yeah, we can take a look at the Russell too at the same time. So,
Order cancelled.
I'm trying to think what's going on here. All right, so now what's the other stock? Was it the other stock was Amgen? I had Amgen on here. Somebody asked you. You probably asked me for Amgen before too. Let's see. Let's try it right there. Let's put Amgen in there. And let's see. Yeah, see, they were working past midnight. Let's see. That's not in there. I could have sworn we had Amgen in there. Add a symbol. Let's see. There it is, right there. Another. As a matter of fact, Amgen is in the Dow. It's one of those Dow stocks, actually. You know, Amgen is one of the Dow 30 stocks now. There. All right. From there, what do we do here? We go with Amgen. All right. Now, let's see. Where's the 0 line? Is that it right there? So it's in a cell. Let's put the 0 line in. Right there. Let's scrunch it up. All right.
Order filled.
There we go. All right. Now, you can see here it's been in a daily sell. Most of the action there went into the sell. Went into the sell here. That's not a buy. There's the buy right there. And then it goes into a sell again right there. And then it goes, let's grab that buy. And it goes into a buy right there. It doesn't take long for it to get back into the sell right there, and it's still in the sell. And this is one of the Dow stocks, and it's been in a weekly sell since end of April, right here, since the $240 area. And we're at 220. So that's not getting beat up that much. Okay, so that's the Amgen. All right, let's go back and look at some of the other products you were talking about. Let's see. Okay. Now, let's see where we at. Let me scroll back up for it. And then where is it? Amgen. Okay, so we've done Amgen and we've done NVDA. Do you want to see QQ? Oh, you want here? We'll put the. Here is the Nasdaq 100. It wasn't a daily sell last night, as you saw in the spreadsheet. Let's see, right there. Okay, got from the move at the end of the day, it kind of it got it through the zero line. It's still trying to get up and getting rid of that red and green right there. And at the same time, we've been in a weekly buy in that product since mid-March. So it's been in a long weekly buy. Yeah. Big, long weekly buy. And so let's see, where else are we? 19. All right, cool. All right, and then from there, let's see, what else can we say? There is the NASDAQ 100. Okay. Then let me go. Who else? And then you want to see euro and silver. So we go euro and silver. Okay, so that's cool. So let's take a look at the euro right here. There's the euro. You see the euro is still in a sell for like 13 days. That's on the spreadsheet also, and a weekly sell. I am, I was thinking when we scrunch this up. I was thinking, I really was. We thought, we talked about it. Thought it would challenge this low here, and it's doing it now. So that's making some sense to me. That is making some sense. What else is there? Then the last one was, and then I'll get to Mountain, not Mountain, Metho with the Russell. So then where's the last one? Let's see, where's it at again? Amgen. Oh, silver. Here, let's put silver up there. Silver. And there is silver. It went into the sell yesterday. It's in the weekly sell for 3 weeks. Robin and I were talking about it last night, like, hours after the markets were closed. It's like, I just don't have any confidence that they can get these metals going. I just don't see it. I would love it, but I just don't believe it. It can happen. I just don't see it. But, we'll see. We'll see how they play it in the end, All right, now let's put up, let's see, Giannis, let's see, and Methos says it was Mountain. Trying to read all, I'm going back up on scrolling. These are the watch lists. Yeah, and if Giannis, you want I can always, yeah. And then, by the way, I recently talked with Pentatron Trader, and he could not figure out our U.S. indices. Huh. For anyone, if someone asks in the future, they are CFDs of the front month, right, of the indices, exactly. They're not the cash. And the NASDAQ is 2020. No, it's 2024. No, 2023. 2023 front month. And then Methos says, Methos says NASDAQ 225. Oh, they're probably trading that at a premium, I would think. But still, 3,000 points to that. Metho, are you saying NASDAQ futures contract in 2025 is 3,000 points off? Wow. Or 3,000 points of. Benny says, Doc, what's your analysis for the GBP? Oh, let's check that out. And we'll go over to the Russell afterwards. Did you ask for the Russell? I probably saw 3,000 and thought you were talking Russell. Because there's a Russell 3000, there's a Russell, blah, da, 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 da. All right, so, let's see. Let's go to GBP AUD. Last night it was running hot and steady and straight up. Let's see what it's doing today. No, that's not it. Wrong button there. There we are. And window and bottom and ZAM. There it is right there. Yeah, that's another good win. We can take this win and put that win there. That's another good win. So the amazing thing about the math is, like I said, what it does is if you lose on a trade, it will find a way to make it back for you and do equal to or better most of the time, or very close to equal. And then it's only good money management that that will make you constantly be more of a winner than loser with with our math. You know, Benny, you can see this product. I know. I always refer to it every day like as if it's going to change, and it could. But, you know, this thing's been in a weekly buy since February. You can see the fast broke down here. Let's move that line down right there. Last week, the fast broke down for a day, for a week, and then it turned right. It bounced off the manifold, and look at it now. It's just ripping. And the fact that the green was through and would not go through the manifold, you know, is always one of those signals that you know that the strength is kicking, you know. It's kicking. You know, it's getting going. In this case here, the product is going after the highs here now. We are in, you know, unique times. This is for sure. Very unique times. What else can we say about any of that? Let's see. I guess from there, we slide over to, where do we go over there? So from there, we slide over to, did we answer everybody's question? Am I supposed to look at the Russell? I'm going to put the Russell up there just in case. Don't ask me why, but my subconscious keeps on saying, go put the Russell up there. Here's the Russell 2000. Right there. And the Russell 2000, this is, yeah, that's today. And that's live. And there is Monday. Okay, good. Yeah, so the Russell spiked on Tuesday and rolled over. And what this index tells us, this index, and I say this, and this is a very fascinating thing to say, okay? And I say this when someone asks about that. The Russell is basically what the NASDAQ. Oh, here, let me scroll down. I think I'm missing some of these things here. Hey, Doc, what's your analysis on... Okay, I got that, Benny. I answered. After the next dip, Mountain West says, will the debt ceiling get done before government shuts down? You know, I heard, you know, through my normal channels that they were negotiating up until about 12:30 last night. So they're obviously getting something done. It's just that I don't know. I guess what happens is that McCarthy made this statement. Woo! I'm seeing a. Oh my God! There's a. Where's this in Michigan? There's a. Oh no! It's in Missouri. There's a beef cattle. Oh, it is Michigan, and Saginaw. A beef cattle got loose on a major highway, and they got a cowboy with a lassoing it, and then somebody on a four-wheeler chasing after that. Anyway, that's up on the Financial Channel right now. Let me think. What else do I wanted to say? I guess, McCarthy came out, to answer that debt ceiling thing. McCarthy, oh my God, they're playing it again. I got to see if I can get this up on the screen. Let's see if I go like this, and I go. Let's see if we can catch this. And so they're negotiating, and as much as they're negotiating, they're I guess it comes down to they're trying to find a way to get Biden away from the staff. I guess that's what it comes down to. U.S. Highway. Let's see if I can get this up on the screen. Saginaw, Michigan. There we go. Anyway, you got to see this. There it is. I think I got it. Yep, there it is.
Most popular story for most of
Check that out.
the afternoon over on clickondetroit.com.
Part of I-75.
He's chasing it down.
Is, right out of a Western movie.
They got it. They're bulldogging it.
On horseback trying to chase
And they got the dogs too chasing it, so that it doesn't bang into a car. Because we have that happen around here every so often. That's wild. Bulldogging it. There you are. Yep. Chase that cattle down. So anyway, McCarthy came out. I've been trying to say this until the cattle started running down the major highway. He said, I'm going to show up every day at the White House and sit with you until you resolve this. And maybe that was code for, maybe I can separate you from your staff and you can be normal again. And I think that might be what's going on. Let's see. Mountain says, debt ceiling, no panic. If they worked nonstop, that would be panic mode. Yeah. You know, they worked up until 12:30 last night, after midnight, they said. I just don't... I don't... You know, it's becoming an enigma to me. It really is. I think they've got a deal on the edge. I do. That's why I think the market, it's to buy the rumor and then sell the news when it finally, rolls over. That's pretty much what it says to me. So I'm not really worried about the debt ceiling. And you can see in the pairs trades, look, money is not the smartest thing in the world. There's no doubt about that. I mean, people managing it. I mean, if you don't have a fund where you have your retirement money and you're not using options, I know the scary words, options, calls and puts, if you're not using them married to your equity, you're investing like it's 1975. You're taking a lot more risk than you need to for the return you're getting. Options are too scary for me. No, Mountain, please, no. They're not that scary. They're just not. It's based off of insurance law. In other words, whatever was passed by Congress is identical to insurance law. It's not. You just got to use them right. That's all. You ever use an extension ladder? Where it's like 10 feet tall, and then you can extend it out, and it goes up to 20 feet. That type of thing. Think of the rungs as strike prices. Are you writing options or buying them? I do both. I trade all of it. There is no one-dimensional. And the beauty of it is you can be hedged. You can be protected. So, it is an interesting dilemma, I guess you could say, in many different ways. People are running from it, and they shouldn't. So anyway, I'm not seeing the markets move the way they should for what I think is going on. That's the odd part. Now, you got quantitative easing, and quantitative easing is truly much more powerful and much more influential than anything else. I mean, it really does. They can swing away all they want with that type of do-re-mi. I mean, can you imagine? They're giving Citadel, they're giving these hedge funds anywhere from $500 million to $1 billion a night, just short-term money. But they've been doing it for years. So in other words, every night they get that money. They get the money, they get the money, they get the money. So that is that's the whole crazy dilemma of it all in the end, is that the money is being spread around to keep the markets stable. That's the objective, stability. That's what quantitative easing was all about. It should have ended literally the first 2 years it started. It did its job. The last 12 years now, 2008 going into 2023, that's 15 years. So for the last 13 years, it shouldn't have been, they should have been done with it. Done. Over with. All done. All done. So anyhow, that's where we stand at this point. What else? Oh, let's go back to the chat line. Make sure I'm not missing anything here. So yeah, Mountain. If you're a producer in energy or in commodities, grains or meats, you can use options to protect your crop and at the same time gain if there's a win. And if it falls down, then you have protection. Not counting you have government insurance anyway, so what's the difference when it comes to commodities? So in other words, you're just fattening up the deal even more by using the options. So, it's really odd one of our largest farmers around here, in South Jersey, he buys calls to guarantee that he has the inventory that he needs. He's not selling calls against his crops. He's actually buying calls. He actually buys them. And the smarter thing would be even more is to sell the puts to sweeten the amount of money coming in for the crop. So I mean, there's a lot of different tools depending on what not you personally, but what other people are doing in the sense of how they, as producers, be it energy or grains or cattle or metal producers. Metal producers just go out and sell the futures contract. That's all they do. They sell a futures contract. They're hedged. They should instead be using the options. You can create a synthetic short very cheaply, just like holding on to a future, and at the same time set up an opportunity. If it explodes on the upside, you make money. That's the problem. Farmers go out and sell the futures contracts. It's done. They're out of the crop now. Really, that's what it really comes down to. They're just hoping that they get the inventory to deliver. That's about it. All right, where are we at this point? I think I've answered everybody's question. If I have not, just say, just say something like, ask something. It is not really farmers. What do you mean? That are using the hedge? Well, I would imagine. Do you guys get much volume on the trading in soybeans? Because I know, Scotty trades soybeans, and there was talk about you guys were going to trade wheat. Small to medium-sized farms do not have the capacity or human resources to work on the market. True. This is true. And you know how I feel about brokers in general. Most of them don't understand options, so then they're not even able to communicate the idea. You're right. In Europe, there are firms that profit from it as a service. Yeah, that's exactly it. You're right. Exactly. That make forecasts and then offer a price lock-in. And they don't have to lock it in. They can lock in, they can lock in the risk and at the same time leave the door open for opportunity on the upside. We were telling our farmers that a couple years ago. We have a lot of farmers. So, and that is, that is a part of the whole process, really. That really is. All right, we saw the euro. Let's go check out the British pound, see what the British pound's up to, unless someone else wants to see something. Pound. And there's the pound. Pound's doing the same thing. It's doing that rollover. It wasn't for this, it would be like, weeks on the sell. And it's been in the weekly sell, basically. It's just going into the weekly sell this week, really. It really had a hard time. The fast went in there 2 weeks ago. Or last week. And so this is the second week. But now, look at that. The green line is banging against the manifold. And there's like a 99% chance now. Well, it's a Thursday, so it doesn't matter. We're probably, this is going to close in the weekly sell. Unless there's some fantastic, wild news. Let's see, they remain cheated no matter where the market goes, but the firms always seem to remain okay. Yes, that's why I'm always telling our farmers, we can help you. We're not even charging you. We can tell you how to do this very easily with very low risk. Very low risk. Almost no risk. That's the thing. Almost no risk. That's the amazing thing. Basically, it's almost no risk and for free. You can put positions on almost for free. Just opened a darn brokerage account and buy the contract. Yeah, yeah, really. Isn't that the truth? So, all right, I agree with you. And then there's the pound. Let's put the pound up on J4X and see what it looks like there. There. You can see all that selling. You see the green is, where is the green? In the 17s? No, 14s. And the yellow is in the 21s. So it's definitely underneath. It's putting that pressure on it. See, but he can't do that because he will have to still take a fixed price from the wheat processor. Yes. The way that works is that basically he could go put bull spreads on when he sells it to the processor. Since he already knows what his profits are for the year, he can go put bull spreads on. And, binaries. He is locked in, and the whole opening of an account is simply him just trading like any other bloke. Well, actually, if he locks in with the processor, right? Then what happens is that his crop is sold, but he's still growing it, and he's got to deliver X amount. So what he does is goes out and buys binary call spreads, and that allows him, which is almost pennies compared to what he sold his crop for. And then if it explodes, he makes money on his options. And then the processor makes money, he makes money, everybody's happy. Yeah. All right, and from there we go to Swiss. See, Swiss jumped into the buy yesterday, and it's firm again today. And what else is there? Let's see. And then from there, let's put that up on J4X. Let's see, right there. Right there. So, now Swiss, where's the green line? 78. The yellow is at 62. So it's showing the strength with the Hinky Ashkies and the strength moving up. What's the margin on do you have soybean options or just the soybean forward contract at Dukascopy? And can they do longer term binaries? Guys should talk. That's what you should do. Long term binaries for the farmers. Get wheat and get soybeans, and you'll be able to. Dukascopy could start doing like protection for farmers, and you guys can lay. And the thing, Janos, is you guys could lay off your risk in Chicago. You can sell options against the options you sold to your clients, so that you guys, Dukascopy, is not taking the risk. So in other words, you're just doing the brokerage of it. Why won't they use them? You can create your own binaries. There's no problem there. You can Dukascopy could create a binary, and you could then go into Chicago and put it on, hedge it. So in other words, you buy it in Chicago, sell it to your client, and just what a broker's supposed to do. Our traders are the ones that want our software that gives them functions. That's no problem. And binaries are a very, very small part of our client base. Yeah, but if the farmers are getting screwed over, it could be a whole industry for you. You and I should talk about that. If Dukascopy is looking for another niche, that would be a great niche. Niche. NICT. Niche. Yeah, imagine if you guys were doing advertisements saying, we can hedge you farmers. You could do the same thing for the metals traders, too. And the energy traders. You can lay it all off on Chicago and just be in between. And it's a commission thing for you. And you're not making markets. You're just making it convenient for them. Be able to charge your commissions and not take risk. Talk about something fun. That's fun. Being able to hedge yourself and not have to make a market in it. It is more likely that we can open up a firm in Europe for it as a service, underpricing the current Germans, and then go to Duke with it ourselves. Sure. Yeah, we can look at that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I mean, Chicago's markets are very liquid, so you can basically build a binary, sell it to the farmer, make it easy, like one-stop shopping, and then and at the same time, go and put it on in the options market in Chicago, and it's done. 139.83. Whatever's going on over there is not stopping. That's for sure. Let's put it up on J4X. Yeah, look at that, 139.57 right there. What did I say it was? 83? Yeah, 83. Wow. Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah. You got to be able to have those babies. Got to make some do-re-mi. All right. Where do we go from here? From the yen. Where do we go from the yen? Let's go to... We got the yen on both of these things. I don't know what the issue is with Japan. Oh, did you see that? I almost said China. You know how I always have something to say about China? Did you see that? The real estate thing going on in China? Looks like the real estate market is collapsing. I was like, wow, that's really freaky. Let me see if I can get that up on the screen. They named the company, so if anybody out there that's into the Chinese real estate market, this is just a quick heads up, be careful type thing. Let's see, where's it at? Here we go. I'm going to find it and put it up on the screen. No. There it is. World's largest real estate market on the brink of collapse, experts say. Okay. Well, that automatically makes it close to worthless when experts say it. But here it is right there. World's largest. Says here that, let's see, which company was it? China's banking sector is taking a hit on two fronts of both defaults as defaults rise. They did name a couple companies here in the article. Where is it at? Cross-issued policies bail out failing real estate sector. I know before it was Evergrande. This one was something else like Wydell or something like that. Where is it at? I saw it in here. The name of it. Let's see. Developers in Kinshan. But where's the name of the company? There was a company that they said it was like on the ropes. Oh, where is it at? 40 cities. Financial. According to the financial release in 23 of April. Let's see. Loans. I don't know. You have to go to this article. Because let's see. CCP puts the brakes on price club cuts. Where is it at? They had a company named. It wasn't Evergrande. It was somebody else. Let's see. China's largest housing market, according to estimates, prominent economist Ren's whatever value 62 trillion. What are they saying? They're saying that the housing market is 62 trillion in China. Housing market report in 21 compared to 33 trillion in the United States and 10 trillion in Japan. Yeah, but that's because that currency is fixed. So in other words, if it goes up, it just doubles, all of a sudden it's nothing. And I think it has that same potential. I don't see the company now here. KWG Properties, there it is. Chinese real estate giant KW released an announcement on April 20th saying it had failed to pay 212 million won. You're talking about $31 million. That's what always blows my mind. That's what drives me crazy, okay? What if they're so powerful and their equity is so deep, how do they have a problem paying $31 million? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Exactly. Subsidize the whole bit. I just don't understand it. When you look at these stories, it always blows my mind that, they're defaulting on numbers that are incredibly small. How do you default on numbers that are incredibly small when you're allegedly the biggest market in the world? I don't understand that. Which says that the real estate is not 66 trillion. It says it's more like 20 trillion or 15 trillion or 25 trillion, and they're just making up numbers. And so, because if it was 66 trillion, how do you default on a $31 million payment? 31 million, not 31 billion. 31 million. How do you default on something so small? That's what makes no sense to me. It's not like I try to beat up the Chinese marketplace. I don't. What I try to do is try to understand when someone says this is worth, $1 billion, and then they can't find enough money to buy a hot dog. It's like, wait a minute. You got $1 billion, but you can't put enough cash together to buy a hot dog. Something's wrong there, Something's definitely wrong. That's what I'm saying all the time. It always messes with my head. It's like, and then the media picks up on it and acts like as if it's real or something like that. And it's like, are you kidding me? They can't even afford to buy a hot dog, and supposedly they're worth X amount of dollars. So that's why I'm always saying it. I'm like, I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all. All right. Okay, from there, where do we go from here? Let's go to the King Peso, I guess. Or do we do Turkish Lira? Yeah, we do Turkish Lira. Turkish Lira is just all kinds of flatlined all over the place. It sounds like that the president is going to stay the president. There's no problems there. So I imagine this currency is just going to be illiquid more and more and more. I think that's the only way to look at it at this point. And then from there, we go over to, where do we go from there? We go to, what's Yana say? Oh, yeah. No, I think it closed in a daily buy yesterday. It's probably back in there. Let's see where it is at. Let's just take a look at it. Right there. And that's the Dow. I'm just trying to lift up. There's the VIX. Yeah, the VIX went into a buy yesterday. It's still up. You can see it right there. Oh, that's the 24th. It's not showing today. So let's show what today looks like. So it's 2 days in a buy. And it's probably pressing down now. Let me change the setting so it'll show it live. No, that didn't do it. Let's try one more time. Let's see right there. Let's try that one. There we go. Yeah, it's still in the buy, but it's down. It's a little higher than it's at the lows of yesterday. That's where it's at. It's going to be a bumpy ride. There's this whole crazy thing with Mr. Goofball. It's going to be a bumpy ride. That's the only way I can see it. I think it's going to be a bumpy ride. All right. And then from there, let's see, we'll close that out. I guess that's about it. Let's see. Does anybody have questions? Mountain says, Robin says, traders, ask your questions. Yeah, we're getting ready to get out of here. I say, okay, here is my question. I am about to put a buy on S&P and the Dow futures. Would you approve this? Would I approve it? Let's just go there to begin with. But I would not. No, not unless you're hedging something. If you're short something, then buying it makes sense because then you have a synthetic on. But where you're actually closing your position out. To me, it's options more. But the end result is, you can see here, we're in a daily sell on the S&P right now. And it's higher. And it ran up pretty big last night after the markets were closed, or almost where the markets were closed. The last half hour after the stock exchanges closed, it ran up because McCarthy made it very clear that they're getting things done. So in many ways, you're supposed to buy the rumor like back here. Right there would have been the place to buy it. That's the rumor. Now at this point, they may be selling. When you really think about it, they may be selling the rumor at this point. In other words, the news, they're selling the news possibly. They know what's going on. And so, no, I wouldn't step up and get long at this spot. The most I would do is recommend a binary. If you're going to get long, you get through a binary, but don't do the futures. No, definitely not. So, all right, traders, we're out of here. This is Doc from North America saying happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, later, traders. And how about that bull getting loose? Beef cattle getting loose in the Michigan highway. That was wild. It's rodeo time. Our rodeo opens up this weekend. All right. Happy trails, traders. Arrivederci.